All right, so let's just do this dumb thing. Um, I have recorded this video before, but kind of embedded into it was a story about two other players, and I kind of realized after the fact maybe I shouldn't name these players because I'm really the terrible person here. So let me just quickly get this out of the way. I tried to steal somebody's wife through this game. I mean, like real life wife. I mean, like, it got to a point where she messaged me, "Hey, how about I just come to California this weekend?" And that was the point I realized what I was doing. And then I just came clean to the husband because we were all in the same link shell together. I really did this. I was a bad person, okay? Um, Surprisingly, the husband's reaction was just to be like, wow, I didn't know I had problems in my marriage at all. I really just had no clue. They had two kids also, so I realized I was gonna take some children's mother away from them because she was so dissatisfied in her marriage. Um, in the end, the husband actually thanked me. That was really weird. Seriously, I mean, he thanked me, but was also kind of like, I never want to see you, talk to you, see your name ever again near me, my wife, my kids, anything ever. Obviously, and good on him. That's what a good husband should do. But yeah, I was a real terrible, um, like kind of the worst kind of person, really. I mean, thieves are really the lowest types of people on the planet to begin with. Ironic that I was playing thief at the time. But yeah, I almost stole some other dude's wife. Funny thing is, my wife, I stole her from some other guy who she was married to. So apparently I can't help myself. But me and my wife been married for like almost 6 years now, and I don't care about other women anymore. She's the best for me anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird to say that someone is the best. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like we're all just weird, broken toys. Um, and you just have to find which broken toys happen to complement each other. And me and my wife, I think, perfectly complement each other. So, I'm not a tail chaser. Like seriously, I was a virgin until I was 25. For fuck's sake. Like that's not really how I am. But for some reason, ooh, I can't resist trying to steal someone else's wife. And then when I actually succeeded, it's like I ain't trying to do this forever anyway. Um, I'm a sexual nightmare. So I guess we're here to talk about Final Fantasy 11, and I talk dirt on everyone else. There's dirt on me. Okay, I was one of the most reprehensible people probably to ever play on Leviathan. I'm not trying to act like I wasn't. It just so happens that dirt knows other dirt. That's why I knew other scummy people. I also happen to know some flowers in the field. I'd like to mention them too occasionally. But we got some notes here because I didn't know what exactly to talk about once I had destructured, this marriage that I was ruining from the story because um, I didn't want to hide that. I feel like I need to get that off my chest. So there, I've done it. Riverine, Site A01. This is one of the most abominable, awful things in that entire game. I could probably talk for like 3 hours, and we wouldn't even have landed at the iceberg that is this fight. I hate it. I don't want to talk about it anymore because it makes me want to puke. OG Promyvion. That was a good time. When Promyvion first came out, you pretty much had to go in with an entire alliance of 18 people just to get through the mid and top floors. Like when you go fight the little golf ball dudes with the things hanging off to open the portals to go up in Promyvion. Okay, first of all, that zone used to be level capped at level 30. And The level sync system didn't exist in the game back then. The level sync system, it allows you to wear your high level gear, and it just scales the stats down, depending on what is the highest stat that this gear slot can provide based on your gear level, and it won't go above that. Nope. You want to go into a level cap zone, you have to have level 30 equipment, which means even though you're already level 75, means you're going to have to go buy level 30 equipment just to start this expansion. The portals, you got to understand, they stayed open for all of 5 seconds. So when you got your healers recovering their MP in the back trying to stay safe from all the AoEs, right? They can't get in the portal in time. So everyone has to go back to get your healers because you ain't going to get to the end otherwise. On the first few months when we were taking our shell through Promyvion, you would go in with 18 people and you would probably get, I want to say 9, maybe 12 to the top. You would never get all 3 parties to the top. So it was kind of a dice roll. If you got to the top, were you even going to be able to slot into a functional party that could fight the 6-man boss at the top? And then after you fight the 6-man boss, it kicks you completely out of Promyvion, and then you're back out in front of the crystal where you entered, so you can't help the previous team who fought the thing. This was just a nightmare. Okay, this was an absolute nightmare. The A01 fight, that was a level 40 cap. So after you get through all that garbage, you have to go buy another set of equipment for level 40. It was garbage, okay? Fun anecdote. In the level 40 cap areas, in the aqueducts, where the Terratars appear, everyone was terrified to fight those things because no one knew at that time. For some reason, we were all just a bunch of morons. It says death gaze. It's an eye connection ability. If you turn away from it, you don't get doomed. For some reason, none of us could figure that out for the longest time. So no one wanted to aggro these things. Everyone was horrified of these things. We had all seen the Japanese guides that were just, when the Japanese guide says stay away from these things, there's no strategy to fight these things. You just listen. And there was this one guy. We were going through it. It was, I think there was only 9 of us who had gotten through all 3 Promyvions at that point. And our link shell leader, Arleman, teamed up with this other link shell who also had about 9 people. Oh, look, we can go through with an alliance, a full 18-man alliance. That was one of the most terrible things I've ever done. Not because the zone was difficult, but because this other link shell was super full of themselves. All this, man, we fight gods in sky. We can just walk through this zone. Who cares? And it's like, dude, you don't understand. The aggro range on these Terratars is huge, bro. You wait until you can barely see them just to be safe. No one F's with these things. So he runs forward, and one dodo lemming follows the next ant into the maws of death, and this entire link shell runs forward directly into where all these things are. Aggroes them, doesn't look away, gets doomed, tries to res them, aggroes other things, and it was this half-hour long series of just absolute nonsense. All because people can't just wait for the light to turn green, essentially. It's just arrogance. What is that thing Zenyatta says in Overwatch? I think when you come back to life, he says pride is a flimsy shield. Yeah, that's a good case in point for that right there. And then, of course, the Omega weapon fight. That's the thing everyone gets stuck on. No one can get past the Omega ultimate weapon fight. Because you have to go across all these zones and go into all these cryptic hidden passages to find these secret areas where there are these enemies that drop the different colored Pringles chips. And you need 6 of the different colored Pringles chips to get one of the PCB polymers, which is necessary to stun either Omega or Ultima weapon for all of what 5 to 20 seconds, to some random chance amount of time, but it's necessary to use it to block the complete party wiping abilities that it will charge up over a long period of time. And if you don't perfectly cycle, hey, you're next in the PCV polymer thing, mage, I know you're low on MP, but it's time to pop that vile elixir +1, stand right up next to this boss, put a region on yourself, and get ready to pop that thing, because if you don't, we're all going to lose. And then every time someone loses, you have to go farm those freaking Pringles again, all over again. It's not just the fight that wears you down, it's the fact that every single time you fail, every single time you get a little bit closer to finishing off that pizza pie, and there's only just a little bit of crust left, and then it just drops a nuke on your entire party. You try to re-raise, but everyone screws up and re-raises at the wrong time, and it just goes from one person to the next, killing you and making you realize that, oh my gosh, we are going to have to farm those Pringles again. We've been farming these Pringles for 3 weeks. I just wish we could just fight this thing normally without requiring this arbitrary item that you have to go farm and then bring it to a fight, which is what every single thing in CoP was all about. Even until the end, when you have to go and just go fight the sea gods. But you know what? That can't be easy either. It wasn't hard enough in Sky having to go look for all these strange, obscure, hard to pop, wait 12 hours for the Japs to claim it because they have the JP button and always know exactly the very moment things are going to appear. No, this is even more of a random chance. You kill the thing that drops the trigger for hours on end to get to be able to fight the thing that drops one of the triggers for the other thing. You have to gatekeep the trigger thing in front of an RNG that you have to farm forever in a zone that no one can get to. God, I loved that game.